Hello, Jared here. I'm back with another topic that I've been thinking about doing for quite a long time. This is something that I have been dealing with over the last year, and I know that there's other people that have fallen into this trap, and I've heard other artists talk about it as well. But I thought I would kind of tackle it a little bit, and I don't want it to be controversial or anything, but it does come down to more of a personal thing, but it's something I do want to address. So, if you've ever heard the phrase polishing a turd, what that kind of regards to is that it's something that's not really good to begin with. It's not something that's worth saving, and for some reason, you feel the need to constantly dress it up and make it look as pretty as possible, even though there's no way that you're going to make it the best thing it can possibly be. When I started drawing, I felt that everything I had to do had to just look so pretty and so glossy. I was going to make those colors so bright. It's going to make that line art look so crisp and clean. But what I failed to recognize constantly is that, you know, if it's not a good drawing, all the gloss in the world isn't going to save you. When I had started drawing, I remember being inspired and all the reasons I wanted to start drawing, and I would think of, cartoons and movies and the bright colors, and I'm like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that right now. And so that's what I would do. I would go straight for what I wanted to create, but I was taking shortcuts and fast tracks to try to get there. I wasn't focusing enough on the drawing aspect. I just wanted to get that end result without putting in the meat, like the real grind work that makes something look like the way you want it to look like. That's why I enjoyed all these things, not because they were glossy and colorful. It was because they were well drawn, and I had failed to see that for a long time. When I had started drawing last year, a common pattern that I would go through was I would spend, anywhere between 1 and 3 hours drawing up some characters and designs, or if I was working on like a big piece, and then I would spend the next 20 to 30 hours sometimes finishing it and polishing it, thinking, oh, this is going to be great. And there are a lot of pieces that I'm not saying I'm unhappy with, but I look at them and I kind of facepalm going, why did I do that? The amount of time lost on learning to draw over polishing was staggering for me. When you compare 1 to 3 hours of drawing versus an average of 15 to 30 hours of polishing, all I can think of now is how much time was lost on how to get better at drawing. Because that's the part that matters. That's where the magic is made. And there were pieces that I spent upwards of 80 hours on. Like, that's 2 full weeks, like a second full-time job. And I was so excited, to finish it. I mean, it was such an ambitious piece that I was working on. And when I look at it now, I'm just kind of amazed at the problems that it had. And I thought at the time that it was great. And I mean, that's good. That shows that I'm evolving and getting better as an artist when I can recognize my mistakes. But I'm just thinking that 80 hours, that is a lot of time I could have put towards drawing. And a better drawing is going to make a better polished piece. Now, don't get me wrong, polishing pieces has a place. The reason I would go in and do a big polished piece is to learn production methods. Anywhere from color theory, color values. It helps you work on how are you going to do the line art, how are you going to do perspective, lighting. There's a lot of things that you learn as an artist by working on polished pieces. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying never work on a polished piece, because they do teach you a lot. And they can be quite pleasing to look at when you're done, and there is a sense of satisfaction. But that satisfaction, I believe, is stronger if you know that the drawing was good to begin with. You need that strong foundation. And that's what I didn't have for the longest time. A good friend of mine that I show a lot of my work to told me that he actually enjoyed my sketches and work processes a lot more than my shiny, glossy pieces. He described them more as like hot rod pieces, which made me chuckle a little bit, but I see what he's talking about. Partly just because, I mean, I know that my color theory, my color values needed a lot of work, and that's something I'm actively working on now. But I do see what he's saying. There's something more, I don't know, intimate about the beginning processes, the sketch processes, because that's where the real magic is happening, as corny as that sounds. But after he told me that, it did get me thinking, and I've really toned down the amount of polishing over the last few months. Almost everything that I've been drawing has been only left in sketch phase. And that allows me to completely focus on the drawing aspect. And in a way, it's actually a little more enjoyable and a little less stressful because I know that, oh, once I get the part that I actually like done, I can move on to the next thing. I don't have to sit here and spend the next 15 to 30 hours of my life polishing something. Like, that drawing is done. So now what am I doing with my time? What is the point of this? And as I say that, that brings us back to, why are you drawing? Are you drawing for the glory, or are you drawing to learn and for yourself? And the way that I'm starting to think about polished pieces is that they're going to teach me production and better coloring. And I have to start thinking about that approach now. I'm not going to try to draw to be flashy and to have something that just tries to impress people. This is supposed to be a learning process, and it's not wasted time if I know why I'm doing it. But if I'm doing it for the reason of just I want to be flashy, that's not a good reason. Now, there's something that I've not discovered until recently that I know other artists have talked about, was how the more that you try to polish and finish something, you seem to lose a little bit of that energy and that magic of the original drawing. And for the longest time for me, what I would do is I would hide behind the production. I would draw something that maybe is very mediocre. And then I say, oh no, it's like fixing it in post. Oh, I'll fix it in post. I'll fix it in the digital processing. So I'll just put on the slick line art. I'll put on some bright colors and it'll make this drawing look better. And I relied on that for a really long time. But ever since I've been backing off on the polished pieces and working on the drawing more, what I've noticed is that I'm more reluctant to polish them, because I've noticed that I'm getting more energy out of my sketches, and I'm kind of nervous to lay down that polish because I feel like I am going to lose a little bit of that. And I've already discovered that once, and it has made me think about reapproaching how I'm going to do this. Like, I feel like my old production methods are outdated, and I'm going to have to find a new method on what's going to make me happy for my finished results. So I guess something every artist should ask themselves is, what is a turd to you? Everyone's version of a turd is different. A lot of people, there are people that would say this is a turd, and another person would say, wow, that's better than I could do. And it's a very personal thing, and that's why it was a little bit of a touchy topic as I approached this. And it's really down to what you are trying to learn and what it is that you're trying to achieve. Unless you're doing something like a comic or a graphic novel or something that demands constant polish, I would argue that most of the time you sit down to draw, you should be doing just that. You should be constantly sketching and drawing. If you want to improve as an artist, because polishing is its own learning process. Unless you're saying, I want to learn colors and how to make something look really, really nice, then okay, go ahead and polish. But if you're saying, I'm just trying to be a better illustrator, I'm trying to draw better, then that's exactly what you need to be doing. You need to be putting in lots and lots of sketches and never stop doing those, because by the time you do hit a certain level, but when you decide to go polish, it will be so much better because you put in that time with the drawings. It's subjective to everyone, and I can't tell everyone what that exact process is going to be. I just know the path that I've gone down and what I've had to discover the hard way, and that's what I'm talking about today. So This is just one guy's opinion, telling you what I would do if I was going to do it over again. But everyone's got a little bit of a different method, and I understand that. So in summary, don't polish turds, polish cinnamon buns. Polish something that you know has a good foundation, that you know is already good standalone before the polish. And I do understand that statement is very subjective. Like I said in a past video, one person's treasure is another person's garbage. This is more of an individual thing. The artist will have to decide whether that is a turd or not. Because if you're learning how to draw, you are going to draw a lot of turds, I hate to say. There's going to be a lot of poo-poo all over the canvas at some point, and you may not be happy. I've drawn plenty of things that are just not something I would ever show anybody. Like, I'm embarrassed to look at it myself privately in a room. So keep drawing until you start to not draw as many turds and you get a cinnamon bun out of it. And maybe when you get the cinnamon bun, that's when you can go ahead and polish. And again, you will be the one that dictates that, but you'll know it when it happens. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video. I think I've summarized everything I need to. So yeah, it's a learning experience. I wanted to tackle this. And again, this is something that you're going to have to look at yourself on. This does come from my personal experience, and you can take what you want from this video. But there you have it. So thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.